What's going on, everybody? It's Komodo Stars Dale here. Hope y'all had a great Thanksgiving leading into the December month for the Christmas times. Today, I'm going to be bringing y'all a updated tier list for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, this tier list isn't going to be super like in depth. It's not going to be something where I'm going to go like 20 minutes into each character, since there are 89 characters to talk about. So it's going to go kind of a little quick, but I will give you like little summaries based on why I think the character should be there and why I think that they're like that, or that's the way that they're designed. Um, but yeah, but without further ado, I think it's safe to say that we can start from the bottom and work our way up. Most of this isn't going to be listed, more so that every character is going to be categorized together if they have similar or slightly similar disadvantages or advantages with one another. So, for example, we'll start off with probably the worst character in the game, unironically. If I can find him, there he is, Ganon. Ganon, super slow, hits like a truck though, right? He's great. He hits you super hard. He's probably the character you play with your friends when you just want to like smash that like smash attack everywhere and kill everybody at 50. He's great in that aspect. In a competitive level, at a pro level, he is probably one of the weakest characters in the game. Super slow frame data, super lackluster recovery, and probably one of the worst neutrals in the game since all of his moves are just so laggy. He does hit like a truck and he can be scary if you respect him too much, but other than that, he's really rough around the edges. All right, no surprise to another character, Little Mac. Little Mac, one of the worst recoveries in the game. Super scary ground game, aerial game non-existent, offstage game non-existent. Basically, his whole neutral revolves around running up and down tilting you, and then waiting for you to mess up, like giving him an air dodge or giving him something so he can capitalize on it really quickly. He does have confirms, and he has been buffed a little bit, so that's why I would say he's a little better than Ganon right now. But for the most part, he still suffers with the same things that Ganon does, and at a pro level, you can really see how top players take advantage of that. Another lackluster character coming down here is DDD. I know we're all thinking about how Pelly did at that European tournament. He did amazing. He did absolutely amazing, but there is no denying that this penguin is probably one of the worst characters in the game. Gordo is his entire neutral, and his entire neutral is swatted away by like the weakest hits and the weakest projectiles. It is He has probably one of the worst disadvantage states. He does have a lot of jumps, but when you played against a DDD or a Kirby or a Jigglypuff or characters like that who have multiple jumps, you can play around the fact that they're going to try to bait you with that. And if not, you can just go up there and hit them, because it's not like DDD has great aerial mobility either. He has an okay recovery, but really his biggest issues are that Gordo gets slapped back by pretty much everything. He's very slow, doesn't have very great frame data, but he can kill surprisingly early. It's just a matter of getting those hitboxes right. All right, one more character probably for the G tier, bottom of the barrel. It's probably gonna have to be K. Rool. Oh, maybe not. I think I might put K. Rool higher than that. I want to put Dr. Mario. If I can find him, I would love to put Dr. Mario in here. He is probably just better Little Mac. I'll be real with you. He has a better recovery, better confirms. He's just overall, like, he's not as fast as Little Mac, doesn't have as great a ground game, but he has better neutral. He has a better recovery. He's better frame data, better out of shield options. He's just he's worse Mario, of course, and he's really lackluster when you throw him off stage. But when he gets going, he can definitely kill you easily. And a disclaimer before y'all are seeing all these characters and like, wow, I should never main this character. There are people out there in the world who main these characters like just because they have fun with them. And honestly, it's more important that you're having fun with these characters than you're looking at a tier list and saying that you should play them because they're good. Because if you're not going to have fun, there's no way that you're going to perform at a great level. And it's not like this game hasn't shown us time and time again that even low tiers can be up there with the greats. So pick who you want to play. Quick disclaimer before we continue. All right, these are probably the worst characters in the game right now. I feel like all of these characters, you see these matchups and you're like, this is pretty. Not that it's easy, but it's a little less hard to manage when you actually get into them, especially when you play characters who are going to be up in the higher tiers. It's a lot easier to manage these characters that way. And like I said, none of this is really ordered. It's more so just a kind of a quick, like, general placing of where I think that they would be based on my own experiences in competitive play. All right, so starting off with a little bit better, but probably not as great still, is I'm gonna put Duck Hunt. This character is super sick, super hard to play, but he's a trap like oriented character, and he has confirms that work. However, this character is like one of the worst characters to kill with. If you're not hitting with clay pigeon in the back air, or you're not hitting them with like an up smash or like any kind of smash attack, Ken is not going to kill with proper DI till like 160 depending on the character. And Fair and like his other moves aren't going to kill either because they have sour spots on top of sweet spots. You have to be really accurate with him in order to get those early kills. And if you don't get an early kill, it becomes really hard to take kill or to take stocks, considering the fact that all of his moves have a sort of like wind down time when you throw them. Like when you throw Duck Hunt Fair on someone's shield, it is still very easy to react to and punish him for it, and he doesn't get much off of it. And the same goes with back air. If you whiff back air, it is so easy to be punished for it. And on top of that, his Nair, probably one of his best out of shield options, isn't actually as quick as you would think, and it has a lot of landing lag, especially if you're one of those players who likes to Nair and then fast fall. This is one of those characters where you can't do that, because if you Nair and fast fall too early, he'll hit the ground and have an actually bigger window of lag than he normally would if you just Naired and didn't fast fall. But that's pretty much it. He has an okay covery, but it's very exploitable, and most of the time he struggles on the lower end to kill. But still, not a bad character, just a little less a little less exploited than the other ones. All right, so as sad as it is, Banjo has to be up here. Banjo's not a bad character. His very annoying neutral, his grenade, his eggs. He has confirms off of that now. He has berry combos. He has a good grab. He has good kill throws. But for the most part, he also falls into the same bucket that Duck Hunt does. And I know that's a little surprising considering the fact that I was just saying he has all these kill options. But for the most part, his biggest kill moves are either smash attacks, his Wonder Wing, or Fair. And not that those are necessarily bad kill options, but they're all very committal. And the thing about that is that once you press those buttons, you're stuck in that animation and you're going to have to take whatever punish if you miss it. And that's probably the only reason I would put him so low, is the fact that everything he throws out, everybody has a punish for. Everything he does, everybody has a punish for. And it's not that it's like necessarily, his fault. That's just the way the character was designed. And most characters in this game have very good out of shield options, which really like capitalize on how on the disadvantages of Banjo, because he can be annoying and he does have a good recovery, but in terms of what he's doing to you, like in like the middle of neutral, it's not very damaging, and it's not very like it doesn't really put fear into you. You just kind of take a grenade, kind of take an egg, and then you move on and juggle him for like 60. And it doesn't help that he's kind of like a heavier character, so he doesn't have the best disadvantage state when it comes to landing. And he also falls into that category where like the characters who have down airs that just go straight down, you can already play around that mind game, because most of the time people will press it at a hit stun because it just comes out really quick and they get down to the ground really quickly. So he kind of has like, even though it's still a cool looking move and it can spike, it just goes against him when it really comes down to it. All right, another character coming down here, Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr. is not a bad character, not at any means, and I'll say this to every low tier that's in here, but they're not really bad characters. They just struggle against other characters more. And Bowser Jr. isn't necessarily a low tier, I would say. I would probably, if anything, I could probably put him like up here in E tier. He just kind of follows that same that same that Rool, like all these other characters have. They either have weird hitboxes, they either have struggling ways to kill, or they have like exploitable recoveries or neutral. While he doesn't have an exploitable recovery per se or an exploitable neutral, well, actually, that's not true. With neutral, he does have the Koopaling, but it is super laggy and it is so easy to jump over and punish Bowser Jr. for. But for the most part, he's pretty solid all the way around. He has combos, he has kill confirms, he has great smash attacks, great frame data. He's just kind of one of those wonky characters where they designed him with really weird and abstract moves. So the hitboxes that correspond with them aren't really like precise most of the time. So most of the time you would hit somebody with like cloud back air, you'll kill them every single time at 140, but sometimes you won't kill with Bowser Jr. if you hit them in that same option. It all just depends on how their characters are designed, and he's unfortunately one of the weirder characters, so he got kind of the lower end of the stick when it comes to hitboxes. But it's still not a bad character, just needs a little more work defining his meta. All right, another character going in the F tier, I'm probably gonna have to go with Kirby. As much as I love Kirby, this character super cute, super cool, absolutely does not have anything going for him in terms of this game. Sakurai kind of nerfed him from the first game and hasn't really brought him back. He's a little rough around the edges, but you know, for the most part, he's not that bad. He has a good recovery, he has good jumps. He's kind of the character you pick when you're first starting to play, just so you can like get around and understand. Like, he's very forgiving, I would say, a very forgiving character. But in pro play, he dies super early. He's at like a weird weight where he's like floaty, but he also has one of the slowest aerial movements in the game. So he's really easy to like juggle and disadvantage and exploit his recovery. Not a bad character, still has combos, still has great kills, but compared to other characters, he's a little lackluster. All right, you know, I feel like we should just get these out of the way right now. The only Mii that I think is relatively good right now is either the Mii Gunner or the Mii Brawler. Mii Sword Fighter kind of fell off kind of hard, I would say. He's not a bad character, he's just very weird, and he still has confirms, but they nerfed him quite a bit. So a lot of the cheese and the gimmicks that people used to do when the game first came out, a lot of people have gotten better at movement, a lot better at parrying, a lot better at punishing. So his sort of neutral play style kind of like withered out after a while because everybody kind of got around it and how they should punish it. Now for Mii Brawler and Mii Gunner is one of those characters kind of like any other main projectile based character. If you get annoyed by projectiles, you will probably lose to Mii Gunner. They are probably one of the best zoners in this game, solely based on custom moves. They have so many projectiles that would otherwise invalidate other projectiles, and on top of that, they are spammable, completely spammable. You can just keep throwing them and spamming them at ledge, and it's otherwise a very stressful situation for the player you're going against. Not to say these characters are great or anything, because, you know, I'm putting them in E tier, but they are very annoying. And if you're one of those players that gets really frustrated with projectiles and can't really handle it and crumbles under it, you're going to have a hard time with Mii Gunner. Mii Brawler is one of those cheese characters. The only reason he's up here with Mii Gunner is because he has that spinning hurricane kick that kills you at like 40. He's not a great character. He has great speed, great mobility. He doesn't really have too many kill confirms. He has maybe one at most, but for the most part, he's a very gimmicky and cheesy character. When I say this character can kill you at like 40%, he could kill you at 40%. It's not like Bowser Jr. where you're living that long, but he has other great things to make up for it. This character doesn't really have a lot of great things to make up for it, but he does make up for it in how quick he is and how quickly he can kill you. But that's pretty much it. The Mii Gunners and all the Miis are characters I don't really play a lot with, but I've had enough, or I've been grateful enough to be able to watch other people like Captain Cedo and other pro Mii Gunner players work around with that character. What character I'm gonna put here up in D tier? Ice Climbers. Ice Climbers are great, super annoying. But once they fall apart, and it's just like Melee, where if you hit Nana or Popo, whichever one you decide to play as, your partner, your AI, if you're without them, you become half a character. And it's not like Luma where like they come back after like a a couple of minutes or like a couple of seconds. It's more so that like you lose Popo and or Nana, and that's probably that stock. You're gonna be playing as a solo ice climber. You're gonna be playing as basically half a character until you lose another stock, and that's not necessarily. I mean, it is a bad thing, but they make up for it in being able to grab you once and potentially kill you for it. And they're very deceptive. If you're not one that's used to playing against ice climbers, you can really get caught up in how many um like what Nana and Popo are doing at the same time, because you have to keep track of both of these characters, and it is very difficult to get around these characters if you're not experienced enough. But once you separate them with either like a sword hitbox or any kind of big hitbox, it's mostly easy for people to work around it. Another super lackluster character, but recently got buffed. Gonna give it to Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff is kind of one of those characters where you see at the beginning of the game, and everyone's like, "Ah, it's pretty bad, pretty bad." Because since Melee, they haven't really been that great. However, this character is absolutely crazy now, and it's mainly because of like 4 different people, which is like Base Mage, Smash Puff, Cannon Red, and I'm sorry, maybe just 3 people right now. But those players are absolutely evolving this meta for this character, and it's becoming so aware. Like we're becoming more aware that this character has a lot more stuff than we originally thought, and because Sakurai keeps buffing him or them, so we still have to take into consideration all the new stuff that they came out with, and this character is constantly evolving and changing the meta, and there are constantly people coming out and placing top 2, top 3 with this character. It is not uncommon to see Jigglypuff nowadays, and these characters are wild. And basically, don't roll in. All I'm saying, don't get hit by rest. This character's cracked, but we don't have to give him that. Another character joining that, Piranha Plant. Piranha Plant, when the game first came out, everybody thought he was just gonna kind of be like a meme character, and he kind of was. But what really pushed him above meme status was Patui, and Patui is one of those moves where like he throws it and he wants you to hit him, because even if he takes the damage and you land on top of him, if you're not gonna hit him with like a sword hitbox or a projectile, the Patui will actually come down and hit you, and it does a lot of damage, and it's also a kill move, and it's also a ledge trap move. It is his main move as a character. Is you use Patui to your best advantage, you set up ledge traps, and you win. He has one of the strongest up smashes in the game, kills super early depending on what character you are, and he's actually relatively heavy. You would think that this character would be dying kind of early because he doesn't look very heavy, but he actually is very heavy. I'm not sure where his exact weight lies in, but definitely a character you're going to see live around 115 to 120 consistently. Has a pretty okay recovery, some really janky super armor, but for the most part, he's a little bit of a gimmick character, but with some flair, because he definitely has some stuff. Another character going down here is going to be Wii Fit Trainer. I don't think Wii Fit Trainer necessarily is a bad character. I just think she's very underrepresented, and it's shown before that Varen and John Numbers have shown that these characters can be very good. And just because he's in D tier with Piranha Plant and Jigglypuff does not mean that these characters aren't really good. And like I said, you can play literally any character you want and do super well with them. It's just a matter of having fun with them. Wii Fit Trainer is super good. The only thing I don't like about Wii Fit Trainer is her playstyle. Her playstyle revolves around camping pretty much. But when she gets deep breathing, she has crazy combos and can kill you super early. However, her disadvantage state is one of the worst in the game. She doesn't really have any way to land. Her main option is to like stall with side B or to air dodge. But for the most part, her recovery is super exploitable. Her disadvantage state is really rough, but what she lacks with that, she makes up for with deep breathing, which allows her to kill relatively early, around consistently 80% for most of the cast. Otherwise, she's not a bad character. She has great frame data. She just kind of she sees other matchups and kind of struggles with those because of how her character is designed, and especially since she doesn't really have very many out of shield options. More so that she has just ways to get people not to go in to come in on her, because she is a very projectile based character. All right, let's start off with another character. Let's go with Robin. Robin is I know I said this for like pretty much every character. He's very much a not a bad character, but he is a zoner. He has the slowest run speed in the game. He is one of the slowest characters out there. He has great confirms with arc fire. He has ledge traps. He has great projectiles. He has even a way to recover some health if he hits you with it. The only thing that's bad with Robin is his disadvantage state and the fact that his up B, if he is edge guarded repeatedly, he can actually lose his recovery. He has like a tiny or he has a meter for his up B, and every time he up B's, it goes down. So if you're good enough, if you're and you're able to catch him recovering every single time, you can edge guard him and then leave him without a recovery, and he'll just die. And it doesn't even have to be like super strong hits. As long as you're hitting him out of up B and consistently hitting him, so he has to keep pressing it. Eventually, he'll just do it once, and then that's it. He'll just die for it. But that's very unlikely in the sense that like you have to be really good and able to do that, and you have to be able to read your opponent a bunch of times in order to get that to happen. But the way he really falls apart is on stage when he's getting pressured and when he's trying to find kills, because he mostly revolves around finding stray hits with Levin Sword to kill, and his ledge trapping is usually what he uses to kill. But once he's under pressure or he's in disadvantage, he's a really lackluster character, and it shows super hard when you finally get behind the wheel of that character. All right. Another character going in D tier, I'm gonna go ahead and put Villager. This character isn't necessarily bad, more so that like when he came out in Smash 4, he was not a very great character. He had a lot of very bad matchups, especially to Cloud and a lot of the sorties. And when he came over to this game, he kind of had the same treatment, except now there's like roughly 20 more sword characters. So there's like a lot more unfavorable matchups than there used to be. And what I mean by sword characters is not necessarily that they have to have a sword, more so that they have whatever item, whether it be their tail or any sort of like hitbox that comes out that clanks with things but doesn't hurt the characters. So an example is like Ridley. If Ridley F tilts and it clanks with someone, it won't hit Ridley. But like if like Lucario F tilt and it clanks, it'll probably hit him. So there are characters in this game that even though they're not really sword characters per se, they have moves that act like swords or like staffs or any kind of weapons. Like Palutena, she's not really a sword character, but she has a staff, and most of those hitboxes can really clank with otherwise brawler hitboxes where they use their body and beat it out. And Villager just doesn't really have any of that. He kind of struggles in those matchups where he can throw out a move where he's kind of like a brawler, and then Cloud will just nair back air, or Joker will back air, or Hero, or like any character with like a slightly longer reach than him, and he'll mostly get beat out. Slingshot is one of the weakest projectiles in the game. It loses to everything. It's the only reason he's not so low is because it's better than Gordo, and Gordo is really bad. But his main neutral revolves around Lloyd, Tree, and Fair. And one of those options gets beat out by everything, and the other two you have to really like set up for it. So he's a little slow, but he could definitely has some stuff that we can explore. Still staying in the D tier, I'm gonna go ahead and where is this character? I'm gonna go ahead and put K-Rool. K-Rool isn't a bad character, and we've seen Kirby Kid do amazing things with this guy. He is absolutely a wonderful character when it comes down to what they gave him recently. He has crazy armor. He has good confirms. He has a good recovery. His only bad option, or his only bad or weakness, is that he is a heavy. He has one of the biggest hurt boxes. He is absolutely combo food, and his recovery is super exploitable once you get around it. He is very much designed to be a character that lives till 150 and then kills you at like 30, but he doesn't have the same speed or power per se to compete with like Bowser, who can do the same thing that he can. He just kind of has gimmicks around his super armor and his belly armor, but he definitely is up there with some of the greats. Another character going down here is going to be Hero. Not necessarily a bad character, so to say, just a very RNG based character, sword character, so he has good reach, but for the most part really lackluster in terms of offstage. And if you're not lucky, then you know, good luck, because that character revolves around a lot of that. All right, moving up into C tier, I'm going to go ahead and put Mega Man. Mega Man is a character that isn't really represented very much. He's very annoying, very oppressive when it comes down to it. But for the most part, he kind of struggles off stage. His neutral is a little whack, especially if you are able to counteract Leaf Shield and Pellets, because for the most part, he doesn't really do a lot of damage, more so that he kind of like hits and runs as he progresses throughout the game. And then once you're at a high enough percent, he gets you with like one of his kill moves, which is up smash, back air, or up tilt. Not a bad character whatsoever, just a little linear. And over the years, we've kind of developed a meta around playing against like or being able to punish linear characters without having really to, well, like just based on muscle memory. And unfortunately, he falls under that category. Still going in C tier is Rosalina Luma. This character was really good in Smash 4, but when she came over to Ultimate, she was kind of nerfed a little bit, and a lot of the jank that kind of carried her in that game was kind of taken out. She can still kill you relatively early, but she requires stages with platforms and low ceilings, and or you have to be at a high percent, or she has to be at a high percent. So she's not necessarily a bad character, and she has stuff that can play around neutral, which is relatively good. But for the most part, if she loses Luma, which is really easy to do in this game, she mostly loses. But still a very cracked character. Well, hopefully we could see more of her as the buzz develops the meta. Another character going in C tier, Isabelle, just a better villager mostly. She has a great advantage state when you're off stage. Her fishing rod and her lead trap with the Lloyd is very good. It's a very annoying combination, and the fact that she now has like jab confirms into like down smash or into other things, if you get really good with this character, you can definitely make moves with her. Still one of the most exploitable recoveries in the game, basically just a clone of Villager, but she has a better up tilt, better frame data, and she's a little faster on the ground, so we like to take that over normal Villager. All right, keeping it in with C tier, we're gonna put Ryu. Ryu isn't he's probably the weakest Shoto in this game. Smash 4, he was the only Shoto, so he was really good. But when this game came out and Ken got released, everyone was like, Ken kills 30% earlier, why not play him? And then Terry came out, and Terry was like, Terry kills 20% earlier than Ken, why not use Terry? And then Kazuya came out, and Kazuya was like, I'll just kill you at 0. There is literally no point to playing Ryu unless you just like Ryu. But if you're thinking of picking up a character or a Shoto in terms of tier, just play Kazuya or play Terry. Those characters are so good. Or Ken, but don't play Ryu. He's just the lackluster version of those characters, and he struggles a lot once you try to figure it out. But he's not a bad character. He's just the worst of the 4. Another character gonna go in C tier is Incineroar. This character got so good over the course of this game. It started off probably like one of the worst characters in the game, under here with like Kirby and Dr. Mario, but he really evolved when like SkyJ and some of our local players, Bullhall, Berg, and even like Magister, when they started putting in work with this character exploded in popularity, and you're seeing it more and more nowadays how well a character can do as long as you're just having fun with them. And although everyone's like, oh, he's pretty bad, he has that exploitable recovery, this character can literally kill you in like 2 hits. And he otherwise has armor on moves that you would probably be caught off in. He's a very crazy character, and honestly, I would put him higher if he had a better recovery, but unfortunately, he does not. I'm gonna put both of these guys here, Simon and Richter. If I can find Richter, there's Richter. Simon and Richter, they're basically the staple projectile character. They're setup characters who excel mostly at ledge trapping than they do in normal neutral play. They have some crazy stuff. You've seen it with a bunch of pro Richter players, but for the most part, they have one of the worst recoveries. They're a tether recovery, so they have a little better, but they have really low airspeed, really exploitable disadvantage states, and they suffer from that down air stigma, where if you like, they just fall straight to the ground, so it's very easy to punish. But they're not bad characters. They just have to work a lot harder than other great zoners in this game. Another character I want to put in C tier is Lucario. This character got a little better with the buffs that came out, and he still hits like a truck. You let him live to like 150, and this character's killing you consistently at like 50%. He has a really great recovery once you get around it, and he's so fun to play once you learn how to do the Aura Sphere confirms. Honestly, I really hope this character jumps in popularity because I would love to see the meta develop for him, but unfortunately for now, he's still gonna be a little bit of a mediocre character at best. Another character coming down here in the C tier is going to be. There's two banjos? Oh, there is two banjos. That is wild. Excuse me for that. Next character gonna come down here is gonna be Charizard. I feel like I'm gonna be differentiating the Pokemon, and then I'll put Pokemon trainers icon as to where I think they are overall. Charizard is by far the worst Pokemon. And I know it's like a big meme that he's the worst Pokemon, but in terms of neutral and like out of shield options and stuff like that, he only really loses to Ivysaur in the sense of recovery and his disadvantage state, because his disadvantage state is one of the worst along with the other characters in this game. But Ivysaur kind of controls neutral a little better. She has a better advantage state, and she can kill you relatively early. Charizard has those options, but he also suffers from the option of being a super heavyweight, where he gets comboed really easily, and his recovery is kind of exploitable in the sense that he has to use his up B can actually be beaten if you have a strong enough move. And that's not to say that this character isn't cracked, because this character is absolutely insane if you play him correctly. But in terms of like on paper, he's definitely the weakest of the three, I would say, and barely losing to Ivysaur, because Ivysaur just has a little more utility overall. And that's where I'm gonna put basically Ivysaur if I can. There he is. I'm gonna put Ivysaur. Oh, that's not Ivysaur. Put Ivysaur up here in B tier, because this character is good. This character is really good. He has really good neutral, really good solid gameplay. His worst thing is his disadvantage, and probably his Razor Leaf, only because when Razor Leaf first came out, it was a little better, and they nerfed it to make it slower. So now it's a little more committal, and for the most part, you don't really throw it out against people because people can just jump over it, and then you get punished a lot for it. He has the same effects as Bowser Jr., but he's just he has better kill confirms and better combos and a better recovery on top of it. But his neutral basically rounds the same around projectiles and grabbing. And then obviously the best Pokemon in the game, Squirtle. This character is absolutely cracked. I don't know what I would do if this character wasn't in the game. This character is so good. Great kill confirms. He has great pressure, great grab confirms, great combos. He has a great recovery. He's just overall like very tiny, very deceptive. He pancakes a lot to the ground, so he's definitely up there, and he has shown time and time again to, no matter his size, he has competed with some of the best characters in this game. All right, taking it back a little bit from the Pokemon, gonna go with Ridley. Ridley's gonna be probably the lowest of the C tier characters, I would say, only because he is a heavy without the weight of a heavy. He has the same hitboxes or the same hurt box as a heavy. He's super huge, combo food, but he also dies like at 80 consistently, which is pretty wild considering the fact that Ryu or like Incineroar, the characters who are otherwise smaller than him, also compete with him in weight. And it's just that's his biggest fault, is the fact that he can die so quickly, and his recovery is so streamlined since he only has 4 directions to go. Other than that, he has great range, great recovery, or not great recovery, a great neutral in terms of F-tilt and Nair. But for the most part, once you get him off stage, it's really rough to get back with him. Another character going here is going to be Lucas. Lucas is very much a character that you have to put a lot of time into to get really good with. He has a lot of secret tech that otherwise normal players, when they first pick up this character, wouldn't really understand. And for the most part, he really does pick up where Ness would leave off in terms of recovery and what's it called, neutral. But for the most part, Ness really just outshines him in terms of everything else. Ness just kills easier, and although he doesn't have like a tether recovery or any sort of like the better recovery than Lucas, he has a better PK Fire, which does an immense amount of damage. He has a super annoying up B, And all of his smash attacks hit below or not all of them, but two of them hit below the ledge, which allow for amazing edge guarding when you really think about it. And Lucas just doesn't really have that to compete with it. He has other stuff that really make him work, but for the most part, it doesn't really come out as consistently as somebody who is playing Ness. Pitt's also going to be in the C tier. He's not necessarily a bad character. He just kind of struggles when you compare him to Dark Pit. Dark Pit is just better Pit. He has they all have the same frame data, same moves. The only difference is that Dark Pit has Electroshock, which kills horizontally instead of vertically, which means he kills a lot earlier. And it has crazy super armor. I mean, Pit's does too, but it sends up the top, so most of the time you won't be killing with it. But he definitely they definitely have kill power, and they have combos absolutely for days. So this character is absolutely cracked once you get behind it. All right, Bayonetta also gonna go into the C tier. This character really struggles to kill, and it's been more exemplified the more the game has gone on. This character really likes to let people live until like 150, 140 around this percent, and it really like matters on either getting a witch time or a smash attack, or just a raw back air to really close out those stocks. And not necessarily her fault, considering the fact that she was really busted in Smash 4, so I understand that it was warranted. But it's just kind of sucks to see her struggle in these matchups where she can't really kill, unless you're Lima or something. Donkey Kong also gonna go into C tier. He's probably the middle ground of all the heavies. He's not a bad heavy. He's one of the better ones. He has great combos. He has an okay recovery, otherwise exploitable. But for the most part, he's not terrible. He has armor. He has great armor moves. He has wind up punch, which kills incredibly early, and he has a kill confirm in Ding Dong. Granted, it's a little bit of a tighter window now, but for the most part, he's still very solid. Corrin is gonna go into the B tier. This character, I'm sure y'all have all heard of Shattuck. He's absolutely cracked. Really carries this character's meta throughout the entire season of this game. He is not a bad character whatsoever. This character has gotten so much love throughout the course of this game, leading up to Sora. The only thing that got changed really was his counter, which doesn't really kill as early, but for the most part, this character can kill you and combo you throughout most of the game. He has a really long sword, and most of these hitboxes actually beat out other hitboxes, like I said, with the villager sword character scenario. Most of his sword actually beats out most projectiles, and they all really lead into each other. So if y'all really want to see some cracked Corrin gameplay, please watch Shattuck. He's so amazing with this character, and he'll really show you what it's like to go up against a good one. Another character going into the C tier before I leave off on the B tier is going to be Toon Link. This character isn't really necessarily bad. He's just the worst of the three links. All the links in this game have a lot of stuff going for them. Of course, Young Link being the best out of all of them. Toon Link just doesn't have as many great options as others, but he isn't necessarily a bad character because he still has confirms great, and he has a good out of shield option and up B and up smash. But for the most part, he kind of struggles in neutral, and he isn't as quick as Link or Young Link, and he doesn't have the absolutely goated nair that the other ones do. So that's definitely his downfall. Another character going into C, I'm going to put two of these right now because most of these characters are pretty the same. Meta Knight is really good at early percents, but once he starts getting to like late percents, he kind of struggles a little bit because he has to rely on otherwise raw hits on his short range. And like after the first like 20-30%, if you're not comboing someone to death, or if you're not taking them to a percent where they can die in the next hit, he really struggles to find some footing, especially with characters that are mostly based around dash attack. And he is just unfortunately one of those characters. Mewtwo, the only reason he's in C tier is because of his giant hurt box. He gets caught by so many things that he should otherwise not get hurt by. And he's like one of the lightest characters in the game. So he dies super early on top of like otherwise jank hurt boxes. And he just overall doesn't really stay on the stage too much for me to warrant him contending with other characters above him. he just has way too many options that come out that aren't very quick besides fair, and his movement speed in the air isn't bad, but his recovery, once you get around teleport recoveries, they can otherwise be managed, especially with characters who have two framing moves like Ridley or Ness or Corrin's Pin. But it's still not a bad character, just a little slow and a really huge hurt box. I'm also gonna put Greninja. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna put Greninja in B tier. This character is probably the best dash attack oriented character in the game. All of his confirms come off a dash attack. Everything he does come off the dash attack. He has great frame data, great recovery. He's very skinny and slim, so he kind of otherwise ducks under a lot of hurt boxes. But and he has a great kill confirm with down to up smash, and he's very quick. So definitely not a character you want to sleep on. Another character going in B tier is going to be Steve. Steve, I just feel like he's really good, and I feel like once you have that big brain mentality to play him, he can be really good. But for the most part, he really struggles once he gets pressured, and he really struggles in offstage scenarios, especially if you're a character with counter who can just counter minecart and or anvil. He otherwise has one of the slowest movement speeds, slowest aerial speeds. He has a really slow jump height, or I'm sorry, a really low jump height, and he has to take a lot of time to set up. But once he gets going, this character can get going. Character gonna go in C tier that I forgot about was Marth. Marth is just worse Lucina. Lucina is definitely gonna be in B tier or A tier. This character is absolutely cracked because she's so consistent. She's just better Marth in every way. The only thing that Marth really has going for him is that he has Tipper and he can kill you relatively early. But for the most part, it's not something you want to really gamble with unless you're someone who is comfortable with spacing Marth's aerials like that. But Lucina kind of just takes him out of the park. We've all seen Proto Banham and MK Leo and other players do really well with this character, so it's no surprise that she's up there. Another great character is going to be Mario. This character is super sick, has a great combo game, has a great recovery, great out of shield options, great movement speed, great neutral. He otherwise will grab you, take you to 40, grab you, take you to 50. He has good edge guarding with dash attack. And, you know, surprisingly, he's very slippery for his otherwise stature. His short stature, he's very slippery. He's a very slippery character, and he can definitely get around you if you're not paying attention. Another great character is going to be Pac-Man. This character has been evolving a lot with T recently coming out, and a couple of other players. Forgive me for not mentioning them. But they're really... this character has shown time and time again that in the hands of the right player, he's an absolutely devastating setup character with Bell and Hydrant. T has really shown that this character can absolutely destroy people if he's in the right hands, and he has great out of shield options and probably one of the best recoveries in the game, albeit exploited by counters. But otherwise, if this character, I could definitely see this character being an S tier. He just needs a little more meta, or a little more defining meta. Falco is going to go into B tier. This character is pretty much slideshow the character. You get hit by up tilt, you put your controller down, take a sip of your coffee. You know, you have a great day while this character takes you to 60. And that's pretty much it. He takes you to 60, and then from then on, you're probably going to be looking out for up tilt back air or up throw back air. But it's the fact that he can take you, grab you, and then take you to like 60. And then on top of that, you just need 2 or 3 more interactions and you're dead. Is what puts him so high on the list. He has a really good recovery in the sense that it's kind of fast unless you're ready for it. Most pro players will get around it, but if you're a pro Falco player, you're probably getting around that too. But we all know what Falco can do. We know that he can absolutely destroy you in the right hands, and it's no surprise that he's up there. Luigi is also up there. We already know why Luigi's up there. He grabs you at 0 and he kills you. That's pretty redonkulous, but he has probably one of the worst recoveries in the game, so it's pretty rough. Olimar is going to go into A tier, really gimmicky, but otherwise a very annoying character. He has really good ways to rack up damage and otherwise really obnoxious hurt boxes. And his whistle is actually surprisingly really obnoxious if you're one of the pro players who can time their moves correctly, because you can definitely armor into up smash or armor into anything, and it catches a lot of people off guard. Character absolutely cracked. Hope to see him somewhere. We're going to go ahead and put some Pichu in the B tier. This character is really good, I would say. This character is absolutely... he used to be so good, up there with the best of the best. and then he got kind of nerfed and he fell off a little bit. This character still kills really early, and he still has a lot of great confirms, but he is the lightest character in the game, and he dies consistently at 60 to 80%, which is really rough for a character of that caliber. Pretty much the definition of a glass cannon, but otherwise a very amazing character. Falcon is also going to go into B tier. We've seen Fatality be absolutely cracked with this character, and even I have also been picking up this character over the past year, and he is absolutely amazing. He has one of the best advantage states in the game, and he has great combo potential. His only biggest disadvantage is his recovery, of course, and the fact that he is a very precise character. So if you're not on point all the time, he's very easy to fall apart with. Another character going to go into B tier is going to be Samus and Dark Samus. Both of these characters have been doing really good with Joker and Siski. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but I believe he's from Europe. They've been doing really well with these characters, and it's shown time and time again that setup characters have a lot of stuff to get around and a lot of things to deal with if you're not careful. And they also fall into one of those characters where if you're just lazy and want to pressure someone without spacing or doing anything, you will get absolutely bodied by OB. It's just how it is. You really have to learn how to play against these characters if you want to be good against them. Alright, so for the most part, we've gotten most of the otherwise lackluster characters out of the way. And we're moving into the really good characters. Oh, I forgot about Byleth. Byleth's definitely going to go into C tier. His character's been showing up really well with MKLeo, and if you want to know more about that character, please go watch MKLeo sets. He's absolutely cracked with it. He has one of the best recoveries, best neutrals with that character. Please go watch Byleth playing it, but I'm sure you've all already seen so much of that character. So these are probably the rest of the really good characters. This is going to go down to, and I'm just going to kind of like rapid fire them because they all have pretty much the same, advantages. Diddy Kong, we've a super great advantage state, has probably one of the best neutrals in the game with Banana, and otherwise has a great combo game and kill confirms on top of a really good recovery. Don't mess around with that monkey, he's really good. Daisy and Peach absolutely are going to be top tiers in this game. They take you to 70 off of one hit. They are absolutely cracked. They have really great neutral. They have really oppressive options. And once you get around it, it's really hard to get around. But these characters are absolutely amazing. Please don't sleep on them. Ike, gonna go in B tier. Kind of fell off a little bit after the nerfs, but then they gave him up B to kill, which is really insane, and I don't understand why they did that, but he is such a good character. He kills you really early. He has great combos and otherwise great kill confirms. So please keep in mind when you're playing against him to work around Nair, because that is his main option. Sheik is probably the last character I'm putting in B tier. I'm sorry, she's probably the last character I'm gonna consider to be at the lower end of B tier, considering she's probably she's like barely making B tier for me. She has great fame data, and Void is really turn me around for this character, but for the most part, this character is super crazy, and you really want to keep track of what she's doing. Sora, this is my favorite character at the moment right now. I think Sora is A tier. I think Sora is absolutely crazy once you get around him and once you figure out what he needs to do. But I also think that he has a really slow start off to the games, especially if you're not one to take advantage of all the combo opportunities he gives you. But he is absolutely a crazy character. He has great stalling. He has great edge guarding with Thunder and or going off stage and just hitting people yourself. His only problem is that he's really light, but, you know, we take those. Bowser, A tier character, absolutely cracked. Lives to like 160 consistently, kills you at like 60 consistently. All of his moves do like 20 to 30 damage. He's absolutely crazy. One of the best out of shield options like in the game. Absolutely wild. Chrom, also an A tier. He's basically just Roy. But Roy goes above him because Roy has that property where he kills you like 10% earlier because of his sweet spot. But for the most part, those characters are the same. They're one and the same, but Roy has a little better recovery because Chrom has, unfortunately, Ike's recovery, which is a little more exploitable. Inkling, also an A tier character, one of the best dashes in the game, low profiles everything, and has one of the most oppressive back airs in the game. Very oppressive neutral, very good kill confirms in roller, but otherwise a little lackluster if you cannot kill early with her. Cloud, S tier character, best sword character in my opinion, alongside Roy. This character has great spacing, great pressure on shield, great out of shield options, and he gets limit on top of that. There's just nothing this character doesn't have. Ken is an A tier character, and I will stand by that because this character kills you consistently at 70 to 80% with rage. And if not, he'll kill you at 100. It doesn't matter. But he has great confirms, kills you, or he'll hit you once, take 60, and then the next interaction you're dead. He's one of those characters where you take like one interaction or two and then you die for it, and that's just how it is for the most part. But he has kind of a bad recovery, but once he gets going, he gets going. And one of our local players, Minute Maid, and otherwise European players have been showing a lot with this character. Shulk is going to be an A tier character. This character is absolutely cracked. He is just one of the hardest characters to play, and a lot of people don't really know how to play him. But trust me, when you put work into that character, he is absolutely great. A lot of great range, great recoveries. Monados absolutely carry him through the other later percents, and he is just absolutely cracked once you get to learn him. Fox is gonna. I actually would like to put Fox in S tier. I think Fox is an absolutely crazy oppressive character that hasn't really changed much in Smash 4. Most of his stuff is still very oppressive. He has great kill confirms, and otherwise he still has okay edge guarding in terms of down smash and F smash that hit below the ledge. But he is just so quick, so oppressive, and really easily able to stuff you out with stuff. Sonic is an A tier character, one of the most annoying characters in the game, not by character design, but by the way that he was designed to play gameplay wise. He is a super sick character design wise, but when Sakurai was like, let's put him in the game, they really wanted to make him one of the most hit and run characters in the game. He has great combos, great confirms, super fast, the fastest character in the game. However, he does struggle to kill sometimes if you're not able to get those earliest stocks with spin dash. But for the most part, he's an extremely solid character. Palutena, top 10 character, easy in the game, been top 10 since the game came out. They really loved her in Smash 4, I guess, because they made her absolutely cracked from this game. And, Louis Money and Chag have really shown that this character is so good when you give it to the right player. Pikachu, arguably one of the top 3 characters in the game, but, I really wouldn't put him top 3 anymore. I would mostly just put him up there with the likes of like Joker and Pyramithra, because both of these characters really do compete well with Pikachu. They both these 3 characters are probably what I would consider the top 3 characters at the moment, unless I'm missing someone. Yeah, no, these characters are probably the top 3 characters, I assume. They just have great advantage states, great hitboxes, great kill power. Pikachu Pancakes that can kill you at 0, but pretty much Esam has been the only one doing that recently, but still a very cracked character. And of course, Joker is still just as good as he used to be. In fact, I would honestly argue that Pyramithra might be the best character in the game just based on all her options. Young Link, I think, is a top 20 character. He is very, very annoying. He has one of the best neutrals in the game with arrow and bomb, and he has one of the best out of shield options and combo games in the game. He's very small, has a great nair, good edge guarding. He's just overall a very good character. Now, by far the best Shoto in the game is Kazuya. He grabs you in one interaction and you die. That's just how it is. I literally don't have to explain anything else for that character. We all know riddles, so we know what he's doing with that character. He's cracked. I forgot about Zelda. This character is definitely a C tier character. Only revolves around Phantom and her lightning kicks. So for the most part, she's a little lackluster in those senses. Yoshi is an A tier character, absolutely crazy, good recovery, good neutral with eggs, and does an absolutely ridiculous amount of damage once he gets going. Please do not sleep on this character. He has great double jump armor, and he has a great advantage state once he gets to it. Do not sleep on this character. Zero Suit Samus, S tier character. No surprise here. Character is absolutely great. Great frame data. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. This character is absolutely a top 10 character. She is just absolutely super impressive when she's put in the right hand. She has great juggle games, great neutral, and she has great frame data with a 1 frame jab, if y'all didn't know. So please keep that in mind when you're playing against her. And punish flip kick. It's not as good as everyone thinks it is. Game and Watch, A tier character, one of the most annoying characters in the game with a Beata shield, the most oppressive shield game probably in the game. He has good combos and he can kill you relatively early, and I'm sure you all have seen Meister and the way he plays. He can absolutely destroy you if you let him. Link, A tier character, one of the heaviest Link of all, and probably the one with the best Nair. Has the most kill power out of all of them, but he also struggles with being slower, and he has a little slower frame data in terms of Young Link and Toon Link. But for the most part, he has a really good recovery with bomb recoveries, and he has great kill options out of shield. All right, the big one, Pokemon Trainer is an S tier character. There's nothing that we should argue about this. Squirtle is S tier, and then B tier and C tier have both of these characters. So it's not very surprising that once you put all of them together, that you have one of the best characters in the game. This character is absolutely cracked, and I don't see him going anywhere for a very long time. He has been nerfed before and still has otherwise oppressive neutral and combo games. Rob is also an A tier character. Actually, I'm going to put Rob in S tier. This character is absolutely cracked. This character kills you like in 3 hits. He has great kill confirms, great options, and he otherwise has a negligible disadvantage state with up B. Since he could just float to the top and absolutely stall you out. Gyro and his beam are the most oppressive, non-oppressive moves in the game, along with Nair. Nair is so easy to parry, but in the moment, it is so hard to parry. A great character, absolutely cracked. And I haven't even talked about down tilt yet. Snake is an A tier character. Super great zoner, very oppressive buttons, but he is probably the worst character off stage with Cypher. It is just so bad. And for the most part, he doesn't really have much in terms of advantage state. He kind of just has to revolve around you walking into his traps or setting up into it. But his only advantage state option is pretty much Nikita and up smash. And those options are definitely very good. Wario, S tier character, literally kills you in 1 interaction. Do I need to say more? This character has a great out of shield options. He has great recovery. He has great combos. His waft is literally a game changer. It's absolutely wild. Wolf, also another S tier character, probably the best Nair in the game. I would say it is absolutely oppressive. I've seen this move beat out Samus Charge Shot. It is so cracked. It is ridiculous how good this character is. And although he has one of the worst recoveries in terms of the spacies, he has probably one of the most oppressive neutrals in the game, and I could see him being a top 5, top 6 character. Terry, he's probably the middle ground of all the Shotos, a little worse than the other ones, but he still has great kill confirms, and he auto turnaround carries these characters so hard in terms of ledge trapping and confirming, considering that you can, with Terry specifically, you can hold down and jab, or you can jab and then hold down, and the character will auto turn around, and then you can just put in the move for the up B, and you can heal super early with them. Sephiroth is also going to go to A tier. This character has a really good recovery, but he has a really slow frame data. But giving him a power-up form and probably one of the best recoveries in the game is nothing to scoff at all. He is super, super oppressive once he gets around it. And all of his moves, he acts like a final boss character, just the way he was designed to be. And it's very oppressive. Min Min, also an A tier character. I don't know if she's S tier yet. I want to put her at top of A, but I don't think she's good enough to be S tier yet. I feel like she still has a little undefined neutral play in terms of that, and I feel like she can really be explored more. But really right now, Japan is the only one who's doing it. And I think that is it. It's a really long tier list. There's 89 characters, and although none of this is really ordered, I do think that these tier list matches pretty accurately at what all these characters can do. it's just a matter of really finding a character that you want to play and that you're most comfortable with. And please don't take this as a you can't win if you're playing Bowser Jr. or Kirby compared to someone who's playing Snake or Wolf. This game is based around the character that you want to play and the character that you want to have the most fun with, and there is nothing wrong with playing a low tier character because you can still take so many names with it. And as always, I really want to thank y'all if you watched it till the end. This almost hour-long video. I really appreciate it. Y'all are giving me the most support, and I really, really appreciate it. If you have any questions, if you want to, I'll include my socials in the description so y'all can message me if y'all want to do any practice sessions or any lessons or any VOD reviews that you'd all also like me to do. And feel free to check out komodostars.com and check out our merch store. Use my promo code ZALE to get a couple of percentage off your order, and be sure to subscribe to their YouTube channel so you can also keep updated with all of our activities. I really appreciate it, guys. I hope y'all have a great one and a great holiday.